This video is sponsored by Squarespace. We start with the sphere, pull down the front, squashing the sides, and then make the rest. Just kidding. Plane off the sides and pull back the jaw. Now mask out the bottom and yank out that neck. Add a simple ear, but keep it separate for now. What do you mean you don't have an ear? Okay, I'll link mine down below if you like this video. Add your basic ear and get rid of that middle bit. Dig in above the chin and around the sides like this, and add a bit of clay over the cheeks. Scoop out some eye sockets and plane out the front. Carve a bump on the forehead and move on to the nose. Pull inwards near the top and outwards near the bottom, and add a little mound for the mouth. Then spend a few moments cleaning it all up. Sculpt inside the ear, then mount the centre line of the lips. We're pretty low res now, so don't worry about details. Just make them look like lips from far away, like this. Then increase the resolution in proportion to the detail. Now mark each corner of the eye and make space for an eyeball. Now insert a sphere to represent that eyeball. Paint black on the sphere to give it an iris. Use damp standard on the mesh to make an eye crease. Then mask out the scalp and extract out some hair. Then mask out some brows and do the same thing again. Z-remesh or Dynamesh to get a better handle on the new mesh. Now pull down the sides and give her a bob. And mask out the front to extract out a fringe. Go back to the head and make it look like Emma Stone. What do you mean you're not that good at likeness? Well, at least make her look decent before we retopo. Okay, well just stop, that'll have to do for now. Fire up 3D coat because it's time to retopo. Make a loop round the eyes, and then a loop round the muzzle, and then a loop round the lips, and then a loop round the ears, and then a loop round the face, and then a loop round the head, and then a loop round the... oh no wait, just fill in the gaps. Add polish to the nose, and fill in more gaps. I know this is too fast, so I've linked my retopo tutorial below. And bring it to Blender and extrude a mouth bag. This is just for the lips, she won't open her mouth. Now bring it to Zbrush and clean up the mess. Shorten the hair and make it black and white. Send it all back to Blender and add in a floor. Why bother with a floor? Because there's no bounce light if you don't have a floor. Add a HDRI for some sexy GI. Add a camera at the front and then set the focal length. Now add in a light and light up that face. Import some old hairs and change them to blonde. Recheck your reference and change them to white. Place at the front and add in a curl. Duplicate the curl and start placing that too. Now mirror the fringe and change it to black. Do be aware that this may take a while. Now while you're doing that, let me brief you on what comes next, because when you finish your piece you'll want somewhere to show it, which can be easily done thanks to the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. Squarespace lets you build websites and or online stores, and it's got tools that will help you make your portfolio. You just click get started and tick the type that you need and you get loads of these templates so you're not starting from scratch. Find one that you like and give it a name, then replace the stock pictures with the art that you've made. It auto rescales your images so they always look right. It's really that simple. This took about half an hour. You can connect all your socials to push content there too, and it's done automatically to make your life easy. And of course there's marketing and analytics to do, and they've got tools for those too, because this is an all-in-one platform to manage your art life online. So go to squarespace.com if you want a free trial, but when you're ready to launch and you want 10% off, use squarespace.com/DannyMac3D. Now back to the model. The fringe is okay, but the curls have to go. They would look much better, but it'll take far too long. So make one big hair strand and copy round the head. Now mirror them over and change them to black. Convert them to polys and bring them to ZBrush. Now play with the shape to match the base hair from before. Get bored of the hair and move on to the skin. Darken the eyes and add red to the face. Forgetting the fact this will get covered in white. Now import some nice lashes, link down below, and split them in groups and place them like so. That rhymed. Paint green for the iris and black for the pupil, then send it back into Blender because we're going to need UVs. Mark seams in key places and then hit unwrap. and lay them out nicely and plug in the texture. Make small tweaks in Zbrush and send the mesh back and enjoy your nightmares. Revert back to curved hair and start making small strands. Again, you should know this will take a long time. Then when you're done, send it over to Zbrush. Now paint the hair. Now pop back to Zbrush and paint on the roughness. This will tell Blender what is and isn't shiny. That's why you want to put more white on the lips. Now bring it to Blender and check the result. That's not quite right, so tweak it a bit. It's still not quite right, but we can fix it in Blender. Add eye designer eyes from the link in the description, then put them in place and start tweaking the settings. Realise that you're working on just a head and neck, then bring in a body and scale it to size. Don't worry too much because this won't be seen. This is just for the jacket, so start masking it out. Extract a new shape and tweak the result. Remesh a few times to help you along, but eventually bring to 3D Core and retop it all properly. Select the insert mesh zipper, which I believe ships with Zbrush, and draw on the jacket to give it a zip. Add details to the jacket, keeping an eye on your reference. For the shapes on the jacket, let's start with some masks. Fill all the front, then remove at the trim. Now removing the pattern that makes up the jacket. Invert the mask and inflate the mesh. Now bounce back to Blender to give it UVs. This will allow us to bake a displacement, which shows up in real time in this incredible app called Blender. Add in some bones that will allow us to pose. Experiment with posing and paint the skin weights. Paint the skin weights? No, paint the skin white. I knew there was something we'd forgotten to do. Now give her eyeshadow and really red lips. Send the texture to Blender and mix with the skin. Develop some doubts about the direction of this, but push forward anyway because there's no time to make changes. It will probably look better when we start lighting the model. Spend a few hours faffing and render it out. Bring the passes to Photoshop and start colour grading the image. Still doesn't feel right, but maybe Liquify will fix it. Of course it won't fix it. We've got a problem here. Take a few days to reassess the situation. Sometimes we just need to take a little rest. Realise it takes time. These things can't be rushed. And when you recharge, come back with fresh eyes. Go back into Zbrush and hide all the crap. Spend far too long reworking the head. Send it to Blender to see how she looks. She looks about 12 now, but we'll sort that out later. Restart the hair with a different approach. Concept it in Zbrush before sending to Blender. Then use it as a guide to lay down hair curves. This looks so much better, worth the extra time. Now we're feeling better, let's improve the jacket too. Buy a substance license and load the mother up. Send the jacket over and play with the different mats. Find something that works and send the jacket back. Now tweak up that lighting and the face expression too. Then render this again and get back into Photoshop. Add some background smoke and make it a funky colour. Change a load more colours and be proud of the work you've done.